Hello everyone, this is DJ Commando of a 45s Affair radio show where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newnan, Georgia.
The kingdom of God is living in me and in you. The kingdom of God is in bloom. The waiting is over. The word has been sown, here's the fruit. The kingdom of God is in bloom.
Hello, you're listening to Singled Out with Gabrielle Denise. Hola everyone, welcome back to another episode of Singled Out. Today is actually a change of plans because exactly 1 month ago I said this in an episode. Tune in on September 7th to hear part 2 of this episode where I will answer more Google questions about singleness. However, now that we've gotten into September, it is Suicide Awareness Month, and it is so important to me that we address this subject. So I'll be moving that episode to next week, so make sure that you guys tune in. Anyway, this week we're going to have Michelle Anderson in the studio from JJ's Hello, and this episode is just such a pleasure to listen to. I do want to add a little warning, though, that if you've ever experienced suicidal ideations, that you consult a counselor or a trusted friend and maybe watch this or listen to this episode with them, because it might be a little bit triggering. Anyway, before we get started, let's say our prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for watching over us and protecting us this week. And I pray, Lord, that as people listen to this episode of Singled Out, that it would accomplish the purpose that you want to accomplish, and that people would be touched by it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Now let's get to today's moment of inspiration. So today's moment of inspiration comes from Habakkuk 3:19, which says, "The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights." This verse has really stuck out to me this week because for those of you guys who don't know, deer have really strong hind feet. And it is the one thing that allows them to go upon those like high mountain hills and like not fall off and give them really good grip. And sometimes as Christians, I know it can be difficult because we feel like we don't have the tools that we need to succeed. Like we might feel like we're supposed to be speaking to audiences of thousands of people, and yet we have horrible stage fright. But the truth is that as we walk along, God will always equip us with the things that we need. And I've seen many times in my life where I've needed money for something, and God has really come through. You just have to wait on Him and pray, and He will give you everything that you need to accomplish the goals and plans that He has set out for you. Anyway, we're going to go on a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to have Michelle Anderson in the studio. So please stay tuned. Hola, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Denise, and I'm the host of Singled Out, one of the only radio shows in Atlanta targeted to youth. As part of the ministry of my show, I try my best to make the show accessible. No guests are ever charged to appear on the show. However, running this show requires funds, and even though I know that God will provide, I need your help. If you have heard even one thing on Singled Out that has changed your thought process or spoke to your spirit, I would love it if you would sow a seed into the show this September. I am trying to raise $3,000, which would cover the next year of Singled Out's fees and help us to keep telling stories that matter. You can donate by texting STORIES to 53555, or you can securely donate it by visiting positivelygabriellerice.com/the-radio-show. You have until September 30th to give. Thank you so much for listening and for supporting a show that helps to keep youth moving in this crazy, crazy world and be a light into the next generation. I'll see you on Thursday at 10:30 a.m.
Help protect your family from flu this season by taking 3 easy steps. First, get yourself and your family a flu shot. It's quick and can protect you all season. Second, take everyday actions to help prevent the spread of germs like flu. Cover your cough, stay home from work or school if you're sick, and wash your hands often. Third, there are drugs that can treat flu illness. These work best when started early. Learn more at cdc.gov/fightflu.
You're walking shopping or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you. What do you do to be prepared in today's world. Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in women's self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively. With technical drills to build their survival skills, you can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Hank Arnold here from Coweta Force. Coweta Force is Noonan's own addiction recovery support center. We exist to provide recovery support services for individuals and family members who have been impacted by addiction. Our services are no cost, and all of our information is available on our website at www.cowetaforce.org or follow us on Facebook.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of a 45's Affair radio show, where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newnan, Georgia.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Singled Out. I'm your host, Gabrielle Denise, and I'm so pleased because today I have the honor of speaking with Michelle Anderson. She is the leader and founder of JJ's Hello, which is a youth mental health and suicide prevention awareness foundation. Michelle, it's such an honor to have you in the studio today with us.
It's such an honor to be here, and I'm glad you asked us to be here. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. So my first question is, what inspired you to create or found JJ's Hello?
What made us want to really put this foundation together was the fact that we had lost our 12-year-old son. It's now been 7.5 years since we've lost him.
Wow.
We lost him to suicide. He was a really good person, had a really good heart, and he was always trying to give. And so we wanted something that would help us to keep him in our hearts and to keep him, other people knowing about him and remembering him.
Right.
So during the process of losing our son, we had no resources. We had nowhere to turn during that time.
Mm-hmm.
7 years ago, this is something that was kind of still a little unheard of.
Right.
And so we had no help with how to cope, how to deal. We had no information on what the signs and things that would let you know that your child was kind of dealing with a little bit of depression or suicidal tendencies. So we decided, after learning as we were going along, to go ahead and be able to help other parents if they were going through this, and to let them know that there is help now. Mm-hmm. And so we, on our website, we have all that information that kind of helps. But we were pretty lost, not only after losing our son, which is like the worst day ever.
Exactly.
We had no information on where to turn, where to get help, who could help us. And along with his siblings, they needed a lot of support and help as well. Right. And we didn't know how to give it to them in our time of grief as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that, and I think it's so important because I know personally I've had a couple of losses to suicide, and even though they weren't in my family, I think it's so important that we talk about what happens afterwards, because the survivors, they need resources, they need help. And I'm just so glad for this age of social media, where they're bringing more awareness to mental health and about like connecting people together with places they can find help,
Right.
Okay. So my second question is, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is maybe struggling with their mental health?
I would definitely tell them, and I've had this experience myself. Mm-hmm. So I know that a lot of things that have helped me was being able to talk about it, and actually letting people know how you feel. Mm-hmm. It's so it's such a serious matter right now that we find ways to hide it, and we have ways that we deal with it without letting other people see. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that, hey, you're a really strong woman and how can you hold all the stuff that you're doing and
right.
just carry it well? That's my front. That's my front, because behind, I'm still struggling with the loss of my son.
Right.
Every day I think of him. I'm dealing with, now we have an autistic son.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's really hard because, we get counseling. We have counselors, psychiatrists, but they don't always ask the right questions either. Yeah, so I think it's important that you find that one person that you could really confide in,
mm-hmm.
and let them know what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and, let them know how they can help you.
Right, exactly. And one thing I do notice, especially with Black women, is that we are often called very strong, but sometimes we're the ones that will be struggling the most. And that's my crutch personally, is I feel like sometimes I can be too strong and not really open up to people until I'm at a brink of a breaking point. And I think it's really important for us to learn how to find, like you said, that one person that we feel safe opening up to,
And see, with me, I'm that type of person that I'm not going to tell you I need help. I'm not going to tell you that I want you to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get you're a strong Black woman. And in our heads, that's what we have.
Right.
We're strong Black women.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have other people help us. But one of the things that I've noticed is that when people come to me and they say, "Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing all right?" And the minute they touch me, after they say that, I break down.
Me too.
I start crying.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, why am I crying? I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Right.
So,
exactly.
It's you get that touch.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know that they genuinely care about you.
Right.
And it makes you break down.
Exactly. Right. And that's the thing too, is sometimes if somebody asks me if I'm okay, I have this moment of pause, okay, who is this person? Are they asking because they want to know and they care about me, or are they asking to be nosy? And then are they asking if I'm okay and they just want to move on to the next subject? And in that case, I don't want to bog them down with whatever is happening. But whenever they touch or me or hug me or something like that, then I know, okay, this person really wants to know how am I doing? And those are kind of rare for me to find, actually.
Right. And that's the thing. But it doesn't matter who they are.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that even if they just want to be in your business,
right.
The fact that you've seen it, there's something visually on our faces that we think we're hiding it,
mm-hmm.
and somebody else sees it. So, I'm the type of person, if I see someone in the grocery store and they're looking down or they're, looking away from everybody else, I will walk up to them and say, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Right. Yeah.
And, just start that conversation, and little do you know, they'll let you know, "Oh, God, I've just had a very horrific day. This is what's happening." And I'm a complete stranger to this person, and they're telling me exactly how they feel. And that's why our motto is say hello, save a life. Oh. Because if you say hello to someone, you don't realize the world of difference you just made to them. And if there's somebody struggling with mental health or suicidal ideations, just you saying hi to them lets them know that they are being seen. I see you. Mm-hmm. You are important. I'm asking you, how are you doing?
Right. Oh, I love that. The say hello, save a life. Because I struggled with suicidal ideations at one point. And that was one of my biggest things, is feeling invisible and unseen. And I do say that too. When people say hello to me, even if it's just a random stranger, and especially if they make a joke or something like that, it can completely turn my day around in just a second. And it's so amazing how those words mean a lot,
Those are very powerful words.
Right, exactly.
That I too dealt with a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And just hearing it is it says a lot.
Right. Okay, awesome. So I guess moving on to question number 3. So suicide is such a big subject that touches all age groups and genders and nationalities. Why did you guys choose to specifically focus on youth suicide?
There was so many programs out there for older people, like after college years.
Right.
So it was really like we started with suicide prevention, the National Center, and we kind of realized that nothing was really geared to us in helping us deal with the loss of our son.
Right.
And I think they also realized that the Sacramento chapter of it realized that it's true. There's nothing out there. We don't really have information. We don't have stuff on siblings, on how siblings can help and deal with the loss of a loved one through suicide. So it was really, that was our main focus point at that time, because shortly after we lost our son, within that year span, there was 3 or 4 other students that had taken their lives that year as well.
Wait, at the same school?
At the same district.
Oh, same district. Okay.
At Elk Grove School District.
Wow.
So, then the parents, and the superintendent and his assistant, they were also sending parents, like, oh, well, here's another family that lost their son.
Right.
Maybe you guys can kind of link up. Because, again, there was no other programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times people are embarrassed, ashamed that they've lost someone to suicide. And the guilt of it is the part that gets me, is because a lot of times they're being told, hey, you know what? A lot of times they think they're helping us.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my God, if I wasn't here, my family would be so much better, because my mom wouldn't be yelling at me and getting on me about everything. She'd kind of be able to relax a little more.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I felt that it was very important that we stick to the youth part. And when we say youth, we're talking, there was kids from the age of 8 years old. If you remember that story on Facebook.
Yes,
8 years old all the way through college. And there was a lot of college students that were taking their lives. And we had a lot of college students calling us and talking to us. And we were talking and letting them know, hey, it's okay for you to feel this way. And, we get thank yous and all this stuff from them as well. So I think that was the better for us, because we've actually lived through it.
Right, exactly.
So knowing exactly what we were going through and how we were dealing with it, and what were the wrong ways to deal with it, and what would make it better to deal with, we felt that it was more important to stay within the youth, because there still really isn't that many youth programs out there.
There's not, no.
And so the importance is like, obviously parents and society is still not willing to accept the fact that our youth are still taking their lives.
Right.
And that the depression and the mental health is really bad. I mean,
it is.
Even getting them in to see a psychiatrist or a therapist.
It's hard.
With JJ, we started noticing changes in him behavioral-wise. In October, which was 2 months after he started school in middle school. And so we tried to get counseling, and they were like, oh, we're 4 months out still.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, my son, there's something wrong with him, and you're telling me 4 months for him to talk to someone?
Right.
And so, then we let him know, and he calmed down, and he was like, okay, Mom, I'm going to do better. And he did. He did really good. And then all of a sudden, December, January, he had that same behavior all over again.
Right.
And so, by the time we called again, they told us 5-6 months. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. You guys see the need.
Right, exactly.
I lost him 2 months after that. So, it's very important that these programs be well known and well out there for our youth, our parents.
And I love that too, because I do notice that with youth, a lot of like the older generation sometimes is like, youth, you don't have anything to worry about. You just have to go to school. And especially when you get older, sometimes you can become kind of desensitized to what it's like to be a youth, especially like living in the social media age. It's a totally different thing, even from when I grew up and was a child in like elementary school, And so it can be be very easy to be like, you know, your child comes to you, hey mama, like, you know, I'm depressed, to laugh it off and be like, what do you mean you're depressed? You have everything you need, without realizing, like, no, it's a very different world that a lot of youth are living in these days. And that at any age you can face mental health, whether you're 8 years old or whether you're going on 50, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why it's important to also talk to our kids.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's a major, like, if your kid can't confide in you, why are they going to tell you that I'm depressed? Right. Why are they going to tell you, you know, hey, you know, I'm really thinking about not being here anymore, Mom? Mm-hmm. At the same time, as parents, and I know that we're all busy, we all have major things going on, but I think the number one thing in that aspect is to kind of be aware of what your kid's doing. Right. Their activities, you know, and listen to what they're saying, because sometimes it's in the words.
It is. All right. Well, our last question is, do you think that it's important that youth have spaces just for them? Why or why not?
I think that's kind of in the middle. Okay. For the simple fact that I know that sometimes, you know, they want to be their own person. Mm-hmm. And they think they know everything, which is why it's not. So a lot of times they get lost in that space. Mm-hmm. They feel like they're invincible. Right. They feel like you can't tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. They know more than we do. Electronically, yeah, my kids know more than me. Right. But as far as thoughts and how society is, the society that we're living in right now, I don't think having their own space is a good idea.
I totally understand. Right.
Right. So children that are dealing with mental health, I don't think they should be having their own space. But if you're a parent that's really busy and not really understanding or learning how your child is coping and dealing with the things that have taken place. I mean, COVID was a big one.
Yes, it was.
And a lot of the kids were in their own spaces, and that is the scary part, because a lot of the kids are still living from that experience. Right. So make yourself a part of that space, but still give them some space. Does that make sense?
Yes. And, you know, kind of what you're going along with is, I was talking with another guest about this, that when youth have their own spaces, there has to be boundaries, guidelines, and a facilitator that is older than them, like, possibly, to look at the space and make sure that it's operating in a safe way. Because sometimes if you give youth just like free reign to do whatever they want with the space, they'll turn it into something that's like monstrous and ends up doing more harm than good. Because, you know, when you're a youth, like you said, you feel invincible. And so sometimes you don't think about the consequences of what you're doing and saying and how that can affect somebody long term. And especially if you're dealing with depression or anxiety or anything like that, it can really change the way that you interact with people. So, you know, those spaces can become very combustible very fast.
Right. And that's, you know, that's why it's important to be a part of your youth and to be able to talk with your youth, because if you don't, all that, you know, that invincible and all of that stuff becomes heightened and very hard to really control after that fact. And right. When I say control, I mean control your child, but a controlled situation.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it gets out of hand. All right. Well, it's been such a pleasure talking to you today. Would you want to let the people know how they can get in contact with the JJ's Hello Foundation, how they can support during this month and beyond, and maybe ways that they could reach out to you if needed?
Yeah, so we are the JJ Hello Foundation. You can just Google it. It'll pop it up. So one of the things that we do, and I'm so grateful for people actually honoring this month and recognizing it for suicide awareness and prevention. Now, we, as a foundation, we make these mental health kits that we put into the schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're really awesome. They have a bunch of stuff in it. I can send you a picture if you like.
Yeah, sure. I would love to see it.
So with these mental health kits, the school is the one that distributes them to the students that are in need.
Mm-hmm.
We do offer them, but we kind of charge.
Right.
But I mean, if they talk to us and they let us know kind of what they're going through, sometimes we'll just give it away. But
Okay.
depending on the seriousness of it.
Right, exactly.
But in the kits, it has like little fidget things and journaling and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's a really big thing that we're doing right now, and that's what we take our donations for.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we also do like events every now and then, but since COVID, we haven't really had one.
Right.
But it's just really important, especially, I mean, I don't want to say especially during this month.
Yeah.
But use this month to talk about it, to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your kids, let them know what this month is about and how other people are dealing with it.
Right.
We have so much information and resources on our website that could really help, and just little things that help parents with signs.
Right.
How to talk to your kid, and know what's going on with them and how you can tell what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you have any questions or just want to talk, we can talk too.
Right.
I'm not scared.
Right.
I'll talk to anybody.
Right.
So it's just, this is just awesome. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just so excited that you got on and, got us on there and letting people know the importance of our youth. This is our future, people.
Yeah, it is.
This is our future. And with the stuff that's going on now, imagine what can happen more years down the line with our kids.
Right, exactly.
So, we're going to be the elderly and they're going to be doing stuff to us.
Right. I don't want to think of myself as elderly yet, but I'll be there in a minute, I guess. Right, exactly. Well, all right. Thank you so much for being on the show, Michelle. You're welcome to come back here anytime. I always tell the guests that, you might be on here once, but the family would love to hear from you again because it was such a pleasure. So thank you so much.
You are so awesome. Thank you. And remember, say hello, save a life.
Yep. Say hello, save a life. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode of Singled Out. Anyway, now on to my favorite segment, the Song of the Week. So today's song is by Aunt Clemens featuring Justin Timberlake and is called Better Days. When I found this song, I was actually jogging on the trail, and it's been a really hard week out here for me, and this song really made me want to cry, because one of the worst things when I was dealing with my suicidal ideations and everything that was going on at that time was that I felt like I was in a dark tunnel and I was never going to get out, and this song really reminded me of the fact that better days are coming, even if it doesn't seem like it. And so I really just hope that this song inspires you as much as it inspires me. So without further ado, here is Better Days by Aunt Clemens featuring Justin Timberlake.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. But if you're feeling lost in the night, it's okay to cry, just as long as you hold your head. 'Cause we're on our way to better. Better's ahead. Better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. But better's ahead. Better's ahead. Better days coming. Better days coming. Better days, better days. Better days coming. I know you've been kicked down, slept on, let down, fake on. Waited for too long for something to lean on. You feel weak, just be strong. Deep breath, stay calm. If you just press on, press on, press on, you gon' see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. And if you're feeling lost in the night, it's okay to cry, just as long as you hold your head. 'Cause we're on our way to better. Better's ahead. Better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. But better's ahead. Better's ahead. Better days are coming. And better days are coming. Better days, better days. And better days are coming. I know you felt left out and stepped on. Keep going, keep going. Shine bright, don't dim yours for no one. Keep going higher, 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 higher. Better days, better days. Coming. Better days, better days. On their way. Coming. I know. Better days, better days. Better days. Coming. Better days, better days. I know. Better days are coming.
That was today's episode of Singled Out. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you follow us on Instagram at singleout._, where we share more stories that matter and quotes for the rest of your week. Also, make sure you visit www.positivelygabriellerice.com for more information about what is going on in this awesome community. I'll see you next week.